Okay, a quick video explaining algebra questions from the MYP2 book, chapter 9, page 197, question 4. I'm just going to whiz through these at top speed. Question 4a. So you've got to solve all of these for x. For a 3x minus 1 equals 12. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to get the bracket on its own. X minus 1 equals 4. X minus 1 doesn't really need that bracket around it, so x minus 1 equals 4, having divided both sides by 3, and then add 1 to both sides to get x on its own. X equals 5. So that's the first one done. And on to B. Okay, B says 4 brackets x plus 2 equals 24. So if I divide both sides by 4, I get the bracket on its own, x plus 2, and I've got to divide the other side by 4 as well, so x plus 2 equals 6. Don't really need those brackets there anymore, just for x plus 2. So x plus 2 equals 6. Take away 2 from both sides to get x on its own. X equals 4. On to question C. 5 brackets x minus 3 equals 25. I'll divide both sides by 5 to get the bracket bit on its own. So x minus 3 on its own equals 5, having divided both sides by 5. And for x minus 3, I don't really need those brackets there anymore. So that's just saying x minus 3 equals 5. So add 3 to both sides gives you the x on its own, but we've got to add 3 to the other side as well. So x equals 8 is the answer to question C. On to question D. Question D says 2 brackets x plus 7 equals 8. So I'll divide both sides by 2 to get the bracket on its own. X plus 7 equals 4. Don't need the brackets there anymore. So x plus 7 equals 4. I'd like to get x on its own, so I'll take away 7, but I've got to do the same to both sides. So taking away 7 from both sides, I get x equals minus 3. And on to the next one. 7 brackets x minus 1 equals 0. But if I divide by 7 to get the bracket on its own, and then I've got to divide the other side by 7 as well. 0 divided by 7 is still 0. So x minus 1 equals 0. Don't need those brackets there anymore. And then to get x on its own, I want to get rid of the minus 1, so I add 1, but then I've got to add 1 to the other side as well. So adding 1 to both sides gives me x equals 1. Next one. 12 brackets x minus 2 equals 24. Divide both sides by 12 to get the bracket on its own. X minus 2 equals 2. So that's dividing both sides by 12. Don't need those brackets anymore. So x minus 2 equals 2. I want to know what x is, so I get rid of the minus 2 by adding 2, but I've got to add 2 to the other side as well. So x equals 4 is the answer to question F. Question G. 3 brackets x minus 2 equals 9. So get the bracket on its own by dividing by 3, but I've got to divide the other side by 3 as well. So x minus 2 equals 3. Don't need the brackets anymore. X minus 2 equals 3. I'd like to get x on its own, so I need to add 2 to get rid of the minus 2. Then I've got to do the same the other side. So adding 2 to both sides, x equals 5. Next one. 5 brackets x, I think that says plus 2, equals minus 15. I'd like to get that x plus 2 bracket on its own, so I need to divide by 5. Dividing the other side by 5, minus 15 divided by 5 is minus 3. So dividing both sides by 3, x plus 2 equals minus 3. Don't really need those brackets anymore. So if x plus 2 equals minus 3, to get the x on its own I need to take away the 2, but then I need to take away 2 the other side as well. So that becomes x equals minus 5. Moving on to question I. 10 brackets x plus 4 equals 60. I'd like to get the brackets with the x in on its own, so I need to divide by 10. So dividing the other side by 10 as well, I get x plus 4 equals 6. Don't really need those brackets there. X plus 4 equals 6. I'd like the x on its own, so I'd like to take away the 4. So taking away 4 from both sides, I get x equals 2. Okay, on to question J. Question J says 6 brackets x plus 3 equals 42. Dividing both sides by 6 gives you the bracket on its own equals 7. Don't need the bracket there really, so that's just x plus 3 equals 7. And taking away 3 from both sides, x equals 4. Next one, K, says 6 brackets x minus 1 equals minus 18. Divide by 6 to get the bracket on its own gives you 6 times, gives you x minus 1, the bracket on its own equals, well, minus 18 divided by 6 is minus 3. So x minus 1 equals minus 3. Don't need the bracket there anymore. X minus 1 equals minus 3. I'd like the x on its own, so I'd like the minus 1 to disappear. So I need to add 1 to make it disappear, and then I need to add 1 to the other side as well. So that becomes only minus 2. X equals minus 2 after you've added 1 to both sides. Final one in this block, question L. 3 brackets x minus 2 equals 2. Divide both sides by 3 to get the bracket on its own. So dividing by 3 on the left gives you the bracket on its own. Dividing by 3 on the right gives you 2 over 3, 2/3. Don't need the bracket anymore. So x minus 2 equals 2/3. Add 2 to get the x on its own and get rid of the minus 2, but then you've got to add 2 the other side as well. So x becomes 2 and 2/3. Final answer.